Nilanjan Chatterjee. I'm a Bloomberg Distinguished Professor of Biostatistics and School of Public Health, as well as in Oncology in School of Medicine, and I have a few other appointments in Epidemiology and Genetic Medicine. Yeah, so this is actually a very special year for me. I just finished tenure in Hopkins. Before coming to Hopkins, I was spent my 16 years at the National Cancer Institute up in Bethesda, Maryland. And I was chief of biostatistics branch of the Division of Cancer Epidemiology and Genetics there for about 8 years. When I came to do my PhD at the University of Washington, one of my class professors was Norman Breslow, who is a very well-known, considered father of biostatistics, and who I really liked, the way he was teaching classes. Saw what a great environment there, where you can bring the methods and amazing data that is there together to really tackle some very important public health clinical questions like what causes cancer, right? Fundamental questions, and how do you get new type of data with new technologies, new methodologies, statistical, machine learning, and all of them coming together and seeing that they actually really solve some very important questions of public health, and then thinking about how to use that information to think about how to prevent cancer. And that mission really excited me, and that got me really drawn deeply into the public health. My research has boiled down to basically using statistical machine learning methods as well as some causal inference method to understand disease risk as well as what are the underlying causal factors, so that we have better strategies for prevention of those diseases. Since from 2005 or 6, around that time, I got very much drawn into this new field called genome-wide association studies, which was being possible because of that time. The Human Genome Project was very recently completed, and that gave us a lot of new technologies to measure genetic variations across our entire DNA and linking them to disease risk, including cancer. And that was a new enterprise, and I got sucked into it when I was at NCI. So that led me to work into this field that was new to me. It's called statistical genetics, which is basically how to use statistical methods and develop new statistical methods to analyze genetic data to better understand causal mechanisms of diseases and maybe predict based on genetic information on the risk of diseases. So there's a whole body of work we do, and I know my students do mainly on that area. Yeah, I mean, main thing I am hoping that all of this will lead into better understanding of risk factors for chronic diseases, which including cancer, but not only cancers. I'm recently started working on, for example, developmental condition like autism, and again, but the basic framework is the same, that we can use population level data and big statistical methods and machine learning methods, and to understand what risk factors, whether genetic or non-genetic factors, are linked to the risk of the disease. And then that will lead to, and then use tools so that it doesn't only stay in the research domain. We can provide tools that can be used by patients and physicians so that they can understand what is the individual's risk of diseases, and then manage the risk of the diseases through appropriate interventions. So that's my long-term goal. It has always been that giving tools for individuals and their physicians. Oh, there are so many things there about Hopkins. Like it's hard to point only one or two, but I'll start with, I think, which is probably heard many times from many people, that the unique environment, first of all, this department has, which is a scientifically very stimulating because of course, all the excellent faculties, students, and staff we have, but also the very unique, friendly atmosphere and the culture that department has, which is, again, still I consider a relatively outsider, because I joined Johns Hopkins, not from the beginning of my career. I kind of joined in the middle of my career, and I always have heard about that special sauce Hopkins had from outside, but I can actually testify that after being 10 years at this department that it has this special sauce. So what after I came, I was thinking what new things I can start, and there are two areas where I felt like I can contribute. One is related to my research areas directly. One is the statistical genetics. There wasn't any class specifically designed for statistical genetics, which are basically statistical methods for analyzing genetic data. And then I also introduced another class on risk prediction, which is again very close to my heart, which is again, this is more for the broader people in the school. Like it is attended by a lot of MPH students from different departments, epidemiology, biostatistics, and that's so basically teaching people like how to develop these risk prediction tools that can help patients. And so that's another class I introduced and that I've been teaching for a while.